Ladies, gentlemen, and others, hold on to those face masks. Today's guest on the show is none other than Dr. Jaishree Sharad, the queen of skincare and beauty. With decades of experience, Dr. Jaishree has seen more blackheads, whiteheads, and skin woes than all of us combined. And that's exactly why a beauty enthusiast like me thought that she was absolutely perfect as a guest to bring on board to bring in some real talk about the world of aesthetics, surgeries, fillers, and more. Hi, Dr. Jaishree. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Aanam. Thank you so much for having me.
I feel like I cannot start this episode without mentioning the fun fact that I am personally one of your patients. I feel like there isn't clearly enough word of mouth that goes around when it comes to procedures like fillers and more. And as someone who's always believed in real girl and real girl beauty and just breaking that fourth wall of sorts, I like to talk about these things that I'm experiencing and, I get to share it with my followers. But you are very surprised about this. So I want to know how you deal with being on this side where it is literally your job and people don't want to talk about where they're getting these things done from.
So, can I be very honest? It hurts. When you meet people and they say, oh, we do yoga and this is diet and this is that, but you know the actual reality and they don't want to talk about it. And they go out there and post about their fitness trainer, nutritionist, makeup artist, but they don't want to talk about who has done their lip fillers or that they have actually done stuff. So yes, I'm a human. It does hurt. But it's been 23 years and also the fact that I am a dermatologist. And so I do treat acne and I do treat eczemas and I do treat psoriasis and a lot of other skin conditions. And, so that sort of keeps me more grounded and saying, okay, I've accepted the fact that, as long as they are nice to me when we meet and, as long as they have that faith in me and they are coming back to me, I think I should accept it with grace and say, all right, that's how it is. But I will only wish that there are more and more people like you who believe in us and also don't, mind hiding or don't mind talking about what treatments they've done and coming out there and appreciating our work out there as well.
I feel like on a human level, you've made peace with it. But even from a business point of view, that can't be a great thing that people literally don't want to, I feel, especially as a brand founder myself now, I feel like there is absolutely no better marketing than word of mouth.
Yeah. True. Completely 100%. I think I'm also a very self-made person. I don't have big daddies, came from Jamshedpur, got married in Mumbai, and then all of that. Because of my academics, there were international doctors who referred some celebrities to me, and then it was word of mouth. So my practice has been word of mouth to a great extent. But then, there's a limited group only. It's only that one Bollywood or one strata where there's word of mouth. And then people other than that don't know. I agree with you. It's very important.
You do. I know this for a fact. You've trained half the dermatologists in the city company. Been around for
23 years.
And I not that I'm asking you to take names at all. I know the who's who of the Bollywood industry does go to you. So I feel like there's so much that could be done in general with this space. Like I'm speaking even beyond you for dermatologists at large. If more people were open about these, these procedures, surgeries, fillers, whatever you'd like to call them. But here's a question I have for you because I get asked this a lot, right? Is it the responsibility for a person to have to go forward and say, maine ye karwaya hai? And I'm telling you why I'm asking this. People come to me and say, oh, it's great. You talk about having had a chin filler. I've experimented with under eye fillers in the past. You gave me these gorgeous lip fillers that I've been loving for the past few months. But what about people who are, in my case, I genuinely, there was an insecurity, but also because of my job, it was also fun and I wanted to experiment. I had the privilege of saying I want to, and I don't necessarily feel backed up against a wall for it. But there are people who have absolutely genuine insecurities where it takes a toll on them, mental health wise.
Yeah.
So I keep going back and forth on, how much is it a person's responsibility to say, I've done XYZ procedure? Whereas, is it a choice or should just everybody, talk about it? I know you talk about yours so nonchalantly and I love that also. I'm always staring at your lips because you always make changes to it. I say this to you offline and I'm saying this to you on the pod today.
Yeah. So so my staff says, and I tell people, I've actually said that on Instagram, that when Dr. Jaishree is low, what does she do? She goes and injects her lips.
Wow.
So it just gives me a kind of high when I tweak it, when I take out a little or put it a little or whatever.
Is it the only part you mess with, or do you also do other things?
No, I only mess with my lips.
Well, they look gorgeous. I think.
Thank you so much. But I think it's a choice. I don't think everybody should go out there and say, yes, I've done this. I would leave it to people. But, there are two categories. One, who, as you said, they have certain insecurities. And sometimes there's something nagging right from the time you were a child. You look in the mirror and you don't like the nose, the way your nose looks. And you want to get a little nose enhancement done. I don't think there's anything wrong in that, right? But then if today you've done your nose, then tomorrow you say, I think my cheeks, or then you say, oh, I think this, or I think that, I think my body, I think my arms. That is crossing over the line. Then you're sort of getting a little body dysmorphic, is what we say, which is not right. So you should know where to draw the line. Like you asked me, is it only the lips or the rest of the face? And like, I'm only obsessed with my lips. And I know where to stop. Like, it's like tattoos, right? I've got 2 tattoos and people say you're addicted to tattoos. No, I'm not. I'm happy with my 2. I've done them maybe 20 years ago and I haven't done more of them. But there are other people who just go on tattooing their entire body. It's like an addiction. That's where you need to know and draw the line. And if it's an insecurity and you want to correct it, but you don't want to talk about it, fair enough. But if you are going out there and saying, look, this is only diet and exercise, I think that's wrong. I think that's where you need to go out and say, yes, it is diet. It is holistic. You look the way you look, not just because you've done fillers. Your skin will not radiate beauty just because, if you've just done fillers. You're not going to look glowy and happy on the outside if your heart is, really wrenching and you're sad. So it is holistic. You have to exercise. You have to eat well. You have to, learn to deal with stress, all of that. But at the same time, if you've done a few tweakments here and there, I think there's no harm in going and talking about it.
So it's choosing between when it's vanity versus...
Yes.
That's an interesting approach. Did you go into social media with a strategy in place? Did you have like, okay, I'm doing this and now I'm going to put myself out there because, a lot of your clients don't do it for you.
So it all started with this one DM which came to me where a person said, Dr. J, can I do this? And I was horrified by that video because this lady was applying lime, lemon, toothpaste, everything to her, making a paste of everything wrong and applying it on her underarms and saying, dark underarms have disappeared.
Oh my God.
So I was like, okay, I went onto her page, no degree, no nothing. But, some absurd number of followers and some 80,000 people have watched that video and liked it. And they're all probably at least, even if 1/10 of them are going to do that, they're going to burn their skin. That's when I said, listen, I told myself, I think I need to do something about this. I didn't contradict. I do not like to contradict people out there like directly. But I said, maybe I should just make authentic posts. So I started doing some, little posts here and there. And I have a lot of American colleagues, very dear friends, and we started connecting on Instagram. And I started watching them do these dance moves and, the singing moves and the audio and this, that. And I said, why not? So I did it. And I saw that suddenly my likes and my followers were increasing. I did get a lot of flack from my community. How can a doctor do this? So a lot of our dermat WhatsApp groups were, no, what is this? Why is a senior dermatologist dancing on Instagram? And all of that happened. But slowly, all the junior dermats started following me. So everything that I did, they did. And then slowly the community accepted it. So that's one part of it. So that's how the whole journey started. And then I started doing a lot of Instagram lives because I had a lot of time, as I said. And there were lots of legit questions that came. And I got my ideas of content, creating content from those questions. So every time there's a question and I'm like, I think if 4 out of 10 people are asking me the same question, I need to make a reel or a post on that. And so yes, I do. I create content myself. when I'm traveling. As you know, I live in New Bombay and I work in Bombay. So I have an hour to actually think and, create content.
What is the wildest question one of these people has ever asked you? Like the most skincare question or filler question, surgery question, anything? What's like the wackiest thing someone's ever asked you they want to get done?
Someone with really difficult features wanted to look exactly like Kendall Jenner.
That has to be a popular one. That can't be the wacky one. Come on. People want to look like her all the time.
But how can somebody with I don't want to be mean here, but
no, factually,
you can't be like somebody else. Because there is a certain bone structure to your face, right? So if there's a certain bone structure, I will not be able to, and maybe I can keep tweaking your lips and get you out there one fine day, but I will not be able to change the structure of your face unless I take a hammer and a chisel and actually structure you, which may be possible to a certain extent with plastic surgery, but again, to a certain extent. But she wouldn't go. She wouldn't leave my clinic. No, you have to do this for me. You have to. Every other day, and I'm telling my staff, hey, Baba,
isko mat lo andar clinic mein. But they have some of the most duped faces, no? All the 5 Jenner sisters. I mean, there are times when I'm scrolling on through Instagram and I think it's a Kardashian, and then I open the post and realize, okay, it's not. It's a lookalike.
Yeah,
they have some of duped faces.
Yes, they have, and you can actually make a lot of faces look similar these days. When I go to talk and give lectures, my first slide is, I don't know if you've ever seen this Botox emoticon. Every face looks the same. There's no, the emoji is like straight brows and eyes like that, no expression face. So that's my first slide. And I'm always telling my students, do not do this.
Wait, so I can't not ask you this question then. I wasn't going to go controversial with you, but I'm very tempted for this one. What do you think they've gotten done? Like, okay, look at Kim Kardashian's face. Because she claims to never have gotten anything done, and she claims to never have, literally not gotten procedures done when asked point blank. In fact, it was an interview that I saw myself. I think it was last year, and I think it was a little bit after the Met Gala even. And she point blank refuses to have had anything. So when you look at her face, what is your assumption? Guys, this is all alleged. Okay, just putting it out there. She's not saying Kim Kardashian has had.
No, I'm not. But pictures won't lie. Mm-hmm. So if you turn back and, go back to how she looked maybe 15 years ago, there are certain things which cannot change over time with age. It's not a process of aging where you begin to look. I mean, I understand your nose will start, drooping. It's not going to get more pointier with age.
Okay, that's one example. Give us another example of something that doesn't change.
Because again, your chin will, with age, your chin will recede. It will become smaller because the bone out there is actually getting resorbed. Okay. The bone chips, our foundation starts chipping. So you don't have support, everything drops down. So you said, I'm looking stunning. Take a look at my pictures. You see, this is dropping down. I do have a very prominent marionette line. I mean, this fold over here is very prominent. This is age. This wasn't there 10 years ago.
For those of you who are listening, she's holding on to her laugh line as she says that, like the air there. Yeah.
So if you find that instead of the chin becoming smaller and receding, you find the chin is more, out there, elongated, face is more contoured, that's a filler. You're looking lovely. Your cheekbones are really prominent now. Your, under eyes, you don't see your under eye hollows now. Vis-a-vis when you were 17, 18. How is that possible? Your under eye bone is going to sink more. Your under eyes are going to get more hollow. Look at my under eyes. I don't have fillers. You can see the hollowness, right? So that's how it's going to be with age. So there's nothing to hide because it's all out there and it's the process of aging.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, you can actually look at my face and say, okay, she's not had under eye fillers. She's got sunken eyes.
Yeah.
Right? But you can also look at me and say, hey, lips are not, this is not how lips are, because with age, again, the upper lip tends to become thinner and roll inwards because this bone, which is supporting the lip, is getting eaten away. So the lips do tend to become thinner. So, but when I'm almost touching 50 and my lips are looking full, hey, it's not natural. I have done something to it. So, you can tell.
So I have 5 minutes. I'm going to read out for you. Going with number 1. Your skin can become immune to skincare ingredients if you always use the same products.
I think that's absolutely BS. The skin, okay. Now, the skin doesn't get immune, but in a way, what happens is with the change of climate or with the change of hormones or with the change of your own place that you're in. Suppose today you're in Mumbai and tomorrow you've gone to Antarctica, your skin will behave differently. So the product that you're using in Mumbai is not going to work for you in Antarctica. So you can't say, oh, my skin has gotten used to it. Number one. Similarly, if you're going through a hormonal, something as simple as periods, just before your periods, this is for females, of course, just before your periods, your skin will tend to get a little more oilier, right? So if you have dry skin and you're using heavy creams, maybe that will not work for you for those 3-4 days.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean your skin has gotten immune to the product. The product will still work for you. It's just how your skin behaves because of the differences in climate and hormones, etc., etc.
So many variables. The next one I have is applying a high SPF once means you can stay in the sun for a long time. Even I'm laughing while saying this one.
The best, the most well-researched, the most expensive sunscreen in the world will also wear off within 2 hours. So it's not going to last you. Yes, and if you use an SPF 30 and vis-a-vis an SPF 100, maybe it will work for you for half an hour. So instead of 2 hours, maybe it'll work for 2.5 hours. But that's the only difference. And is that, does that mean you shouldn't reapply? No, you have to reapply your sunscreen if you're going to be out there, outdoors, So every 2 to 3 hours, if you've got makeup on and you can't reapply, then you have these nice powdered sunscreens available nowadays. So you can do those. Also opt for makeup with SPF, that'll help, but you need to reapply.
People with dry skin age faster.
Okay, so no, dry skin does not age faster. Yes, the skin may look more dehydrated. Your fine lines and pores may look more prominent because you have dry skin. But the moment you apply a moisturizer on it, the skin becomes dewy and supple again, right? Aging is a process which involves all the 5 layers of the face, right? Or the body for that matter. So when you talk of the face, for example, you have bone and then you have a thick layer of fat. Then you have muscle and then you have another layer of fat and then you have skin. Yes, the collagen and elastin fibers in the skin degrade and, that makes the skin a little more elastic. But what happens is because your bone is shrinking and the deeper layers of fat are actually, moving away and you're losing that fat, the muscle is getting thinner. The foundation is crumbling, which is why everything starts to sag because the upper layer, which is the upper layer of fat and the skin, they don't have support. Because they don't have support, everything sags and you develop you develop lines, you develop jowls, your jawline goes for a toss, your lips are thinner, your nose is drooping, your chin is receding. So it's a process. It's not just skin.
It has nothing to do with the texture.
Yes.
The more expensive the skincare product, the better the result.
Can I take brand names?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So my favorite moisturizer is Bond's Gold Cream and my favorite lip balm is Boroline.
Oh my God, I love this.
All right. I don't know who are the manufacturers of Bond. So, I can't even recollect. So this is not a paid collab.
That's fine.
But that's what it is. However, when it comes to pharmaceutical products, some of the best retinols and some of the best vitamin C's may be a little more expensive because of the research that goes behind it, the way the product, the preservatives that they use and, the way the product is actually made. So they may be a little more expensive. But if you tell me, oh, a so-and-so super expensive product, I'm using this and it's, all my wrinkles are going, that's crap. So your products need not be really expensive. You can have a mix of both. Yes, as I said, some of these active ingredients sometimes may be expensive and you need to invest in it. For example, a sunscreen, you need to check, if it's UVA, UVB, infrared, blue light protective, compliant, not forming a white cast. So sometimes those get a little expensive.
Sure. This beauty myth feels particularly personal. Dark eye circles mean that you're sleep deprived.
Oh, no. That's a very common one. Yes, your dark circles may get more prominent if you're sleep deprived, okay? But there are a lot of reasons why you can develop dark circles. The first most common one in Indians is anemia, low hemoglobin, right? And the second one is allergies. A lot of people are allergic to dust and, pollen and fungal particles, etc. And you keep rubbing your eyes. And when you rub your eyes, that friction, okay, causes post-inflammatory hypopigmentation under the eyes. You develop dark circles. Allergies to eye cosmetics can cause dark circles. Stress, smoking, vaping, Juul can all break down your collagen, can increase your melanin pigment and cause dark circles. Certain hormonal conditions, polycystic ovaries, hypothyroidism, insulin resistance can cause, something called acanthosis nigricans, thick, dark skin, under your eyes. So there are various reasons, you've got to identify the cause, treat the cause, and of course, as I said in the beginning, it's all holistic. So sleep well and eat well so that it doesn't add to those dark circles.
Wow, that's a lot of beauty myths busted right there. I feel like I've never asked you this before, so this is a good opportunity for me to ask you, what is your daily skincare routine like? What is it that you do to make sure you look so fab every day?
Oh, thank you. So I keep it very simple, Aanam. You won't believe it. I have the most sensitive skin in the world, I think. I'm atopic, I'm asthmatic. So more than, of course, I do develop rashes if I use certain products. But more than that, my face really swells up and I get a lot of nasal congestion and post-nasal drip, which makes me very, very uncomfortable. So I can't use, I think, 70% of the products which are available out there. So I have to be very choosy. Now, my morning, of course, is cleansing. You want me to take the names?
Sure, yeah.
So I use, because my skin is exceptionally dry, you see my arms, you look at this crocodile skin. I've applied tons of moisturizer out there and you can still see my skin is looks like crocodile skin, okay? So that's how dry my skin is. So I use an oil by Love Organically. It's that kumkumadi oil. So I layer my face with that and then I apply a sunscreen. I used to use Photo Protector by Isdin for the longest. But now, I've undergone a lot of hormonal therapy for certain other personal reasons. And so I've begun to develop a lot of melasma and hyperpigmentation. So now I've switched to a sunscreen, I use HelioCare now. Or sometimes I use Babe. It's not available in India, but if I get it, I use that. It's a tinted sunscreen which takes care of blue light and infrared. And because I am primarily indoors, and I need protection from blue light and infrared, I use this tinted one now. So that's my simple routine in the morning. And at bedtime, again, cleansing. However tired I am, I'm partying till 4 a.m. I still go, I remove my makeup. That's one thing I will always do, especially my eye makeup. And then I will cleanse my face. And I, either moisturize or if I'm not too tired, I will use a vitamin C serum. I like the Norden Mose. It's a Spanish brand and it's really nice. It's L-ascorbic acid, very potent, 32%. So I use that 3 times a week. And sometimes I also use La Roche. Norden Mose is available in India. La Roche is not available. Again, a brilliant molecule. I'll use one of those. And then I use a moisturizer. Retinol, I probably will use once in a week. And that too, I've just begun maybe 2-3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I don't do any other AHA, BHA, niacinamide, this, that, the other. No, because I don't think my skin needs it. My skin needs moisture, oil all the time. And it's not just about eating oil. It's also about applying oil. that, can I break another myth, which is very important?
Please do.
But people feel if you have oily skin, you don't need a moisturizer. So that's not true, because a lot of your skin's moisture comes from outside. Your skin, the upper layers, the stratum corneum of your skin is almost dead. There are no blood vessels there. And it cannot take too much of moisture from within. So you may drink gallons of water, but your skin can still get dehydrated and dry. All right. And even if you have oily skin, it can still get dehydrated. So you do need to apply a moisturizer, because that moisturizer will trap moisture from the environment and give it to your skin. And secondly, when you apply a moisturizer, if you apply it on slightly damp skin, it will keep the skin hydrated. So everybody, whatever type of skin needs, everybody needs a moisturizer.
I love that you said that, because I feel one of the things that I experience very often when I'm exchanging DMs and replying to DMs with my followers, especially on Instagram, is that a lot of people feel like, because let's say, for example, I'm using a product and they think it'll work for them. And I have to repeatedly, kind of reiterate, and I kind of land up reiterating this so many times, that I am not a dermat. You can look at my makeup techniques and adopt them, but skincare that works for me may not work for you.
Yeah.
I was doing this one-on-one makeup workshop with one of my followers, and she was using the same foundation that she saw me using, but she had very, very oily skin.
Yeah.
So I always kind of try to remind people that what you see on social media needs to have certain caveats that you set for yourself, whether it is about beauty standards, whether it is about how not everything you're seeing your favorite influencer use will work for you. Have you seen that impact the way, even like, let's say, for example, clients and patients coming to you, how influenced are they by social media from the point of view of course, I'm sure they see certain types of facial features. We've established you had somebody who wanted to look like Kendall Jenner. But also, like, do they come to you from the point of view of, oh, I saw this product work so should I use it? How much is social media basically interfering with what you should be telling your patients on how to perceive themselves and what their routines should be like?
In today's day and age, 70%. It's very high, yes. Because people need to understand, but they don't, unfortunately, that every skin is unique. And by just saying dry, oily combination, those are not just the 3 classifications, what agrees with me, as you rightly said, when it comes to makeup, it's the same with skin, that what agrees with me may not agree with you.
Right.
Even if both of us have dry skin. All right. So I see it happening all the time. And they're either, checking out their favorite influencer or their favorite actor, or even me for that matter. So if I sometimes get scared. Now, if I've said, I'm using Love Organically oil, somebody else will use it, get pimples, and come back to me and say, hey, you said it. So I tell them that don't even follow my own skincare, because my skin is different and it hugely impacts. Yes, it does. So please, people need to know that, whatever it is, you probably need one consult with a dermatologist. And once you know what it is, then you can go out there and probably buy whatever product. Sometimes their products are very expensive also, and you end up wasting money on them.
I think moral of the story is make sure you get that one consult from a professional who is actually qualified to tell you what to do.
Yes. Whether it's makeup, whether it's skin, I think you need that one consult. It's important. Yeah. One very important thing about my skincare is I do not forget to treat my neck as much as I treat my face. So whatever goes on my face goes on my neck as well. Because I don't want to look, like I'm 40 at 50 and the face is showing 40 and the neck is showing 60. That's very important. And you also make sure you use a good moisturizer all over your body. So that's a ritual in my car, in my clinic, just next to my table. You open my cupboard, you'll see a big jar of moisturizer there. In my car, you'll find a moisturizer. So the moment I sit in the car, I'm again loading myself and slathering myself with a moisturizer. And it's something very basic. I use a ceramide-based Indian one called New Aqua Soft. It's not some over-the-top, La Mer or whatever. It's very basic, but I make sure I do that.
I love it. So you're taking care as much of your neck and body as you are of your face. I love that. What are some of the things about your clients or patients that stand out to you?
If I have patients like you who come with 200% faith in the doctor and are convinced about what the doctor is suggesting, and go with a very positive mind. And if I say, listen, you may bruise, you accept it. It's not a side effect. It's a natural process, and the bruise may go in 5 days. And you let me do what, I want to do, rather than show me 10 pictures and say, I want to look like this. Or maybe, doc, look, my lips should look like this, or my eyes should look like this. I'm much more comfortable, because then I can do my work of art and I can blend science and art together. But if you've already asked me 10,000 questions and you've started the thing with, even when it comes to medication, you write a prescription and the person says, but I believe in natural, and I'm looking and in my mind thinking, hey, but I'm an allopathic doctor. Why have you come to me? Go to a naturopath. So if you come and say, if you start off with a negative thing saying, am I going to have side effects? In my mind, I'm like, maybe you will, because that's secret. That's Murphy's Law. Because you already programmed your mind to say, I am going to have side effects. And believe me, that they are the most difficult patients. So, which is why I loved you. I loved having you, because you just let me do what I wanted to do. And I think that's for everybody, right? I mean, even for an actor, if you just allow them to do whatever, or you allow a singer to do whatever, or allow an architect to do whatever, because they are good in their field. So tomorrow, if I come to you and say, or to a makeup artist and say, hey, I want you to do this and I want you to do that. The person, you've already fed so much in her mind that she's already like jumbled and, thinking, okay, maybe I should not make this mistake, and I should not. I'm also human. So when I'm injecting and already in my mind, you've put 10 things, I'm not myself. I'm very cautious. And in that, being overcautious, something goes wrong. So yes, thank you so much, Aanam, for being such a wonderful, wonderful person and client or whatever, but now you're a friend. So I found a friend in you.
Yeah, I'm so glad. You know what stood out to me about my first experience with you? You were the first person who said to me, we're going to do this in 2 halves, and the second half is going to be a month later. And I was like, huh? This is the first time this is happening. It was my 3rd time trying fillers. And it was the first time somebody was saying this to me. So I was like, okay, but explain to me why. Because I'm somebody that likes the why.
No, that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I always kind of figure. And a month later, my chin and lip had settled so well that we barely needed to do anything in round 2. And I was so grateful for that piece of advice, because had we gone hard in the first go, maybe the result would have been so much different. I feel the same, that, because even when I was working on the idea for this podcast, I said, I know I want to dive into social media and beauty and talk about just the other side of things, really honestly. And I said, okay, I know exactly who I need to bring on for this. I'm not even going to give her a choice. I'm going to say, hey, doc, when are you coming in? And that's what I did. No, I literally said, when are you coming in? I was like, I'm not even giving you a choice on this matter now.
So sweet. Thank you, Aanam.
No, thank you. You've been such a good guest. You've gotten into so many details. I didn't ask you any names. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. But thank you for giving us all of this information and just sharing. There's so much of experience that you have, and I'm so grateful that you're willing to share so much, whether it's on your Instagram, whether it's through lives, through all the crazy comments we get, whether it's just through across it all. There's very few people that genuinely know what they're doing and are actually willing to share their knowledge. So you are special and you are appreciated, and just thank you for existing.
Oh, thank you so, so, so much. Thank you.